live and direct from the Golden State. It's intelligent talk media, The Denice Gary Show. Now, here's Denice Gary.
Welcome to the Denice Gary Show, ladies and gentlemen. Heard every day at 5 p.m. Of course, you can catch this broadcast anytime, night and day. Just check it out on Facebook.com/The Denice Gary Show. I want to welcome all of you on Friday. I hope that all of you have had a good day. Happy Friday. Zippity-doo-dah day. Happy Friday. Okay. I want to start today with the fact that the President of the United States of America is here in California. He touched down here in the Golden State about approximately 12:10. Excuse me, I got to back that up a little bit. More like 11:40 our time, Pacific Standard Time today. Right now, according to his public schedule, he's just departed El Centro, California. He's en route to Los Angeles. He's got a fundraiser event later tonight. He's got a round table discussion with individuals, hearing their feedback. But of course, today, the president was right here in California looking at the new border wall that's being built in order to help enforce our borders. And I wanted to share out a little bit about what the president is communicating to all of us, the American people. I think that, the press continually questions him about, are you changing your mind about shutting the border? I wanted to just start my broadcast out with telling you exactly what the president has said. He has said that shutting the border remains an option on the table. However, he's going to give the Mexican government approximately 12 months to see if they continue doing what they've been doing the last 3 days, which is preventing people at Mexico's southern border with Central American countries, keeping those individuals from coming into Mexico to begin with. Mexico has, prior to this date, been helping facilitate individuals coming in from Central America and South America and any other part of the world for that matter, facilitating their effort to come in through their Mexico's southern border and make that trek up to the northern part of Mexico. Just so all of you know, I have a list here of some things I wanted to make sure that you, the American people, knew. For example, when the president was elected in 2017, one of the things that Mexico did, and in fact, to be specific, Mexico's foreign ministry, they published a series of videos that encouraged Mexican citizens to break America's immigration laws. I don't know that information is getting out to the American people through the news media, but a series of videos was published, again, produced by Mexico's foreign ministry, actually explaining and encouraging to Mexicans how to break U.S. law. And of course, when you break U.S. law, you begin to break down the rule of law. You begin to break down the civilization. They went on and, of course, advised Mexican citizens not only how to break the law, but how to remain hidden in plain sight once they have arrived here illegally. So we're talking about another nation state encouraging people to break U.S. law, telling them how to break U.S. law, and thirdly, how to remain hidden in plain sight. Also, I think it's important to know that in 2004, during the Bush administration, the Mexican government printed and distributed more than 1.5 million pamphlets telling Mexicans, again, how to enter this country illegally and live here without being detained. It even had tips telling people, illegals, what clothes to wear when crossing a river, presumably the Rio Grande. And of course, recently Mexico filed an amicus brief protesting Texas's sanctuary city bill. So the Mexican Foreign Ministry has called for illegal aliens to enter the United States and has said to its citizenry that the United States of America is committing a hostile act by failing to support sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. Now, how many of you have heard that story? I'm not sure that's getting the kind of recognition that it needs. And I asked the question in my talking points, is Mexico a hostile power? Because any government that would encourage people to break the laws of the nation state next door, a neighboring country, to me is completely out of line. And I thought it was interesting. In 2017, a poll was taken, and 65% of Mexicans say they view the United States unfavorably. 42% viewed America very unfavorably. And of course, this doesn't surprise me. I've been to Mexico on various occasions. And I never really sensed friendship. When I was married once upon a time, a lifetime ago, for business purposes, my husband's and his family wanting to do business there. And I don't think it was very successful because of all the bribes you have to pay. But anyway, that's another topic. But I thought it was interesting that Mexico is in fact using the United States as an outlet for its poor. It's using our government for our welfare system. And I want you to know that a Democrat by the name of Senator Dianne Feinstein, Democrat from the state of California, said out loud back in 1993 that the Mexican government is trying to import Mexican citizens, to the United States so that they can be fed and clothed and taken care of here on the U.S. Dime, on taxpayers' dime. And I, as a political scientist, I view the Mexican government as, and I wrote it down here, a kleptocracy. A kleptocracy is a group of individuals that will literally use individuals and exploit individuals for their own power and wealth. And I think that's exactly what's being done, because when you look at it, I was looking at this particular figure. Mexicans living in the United States send back to Mexico, wait for it, $26 billion. $26 billion. That figure alone came through in the first 11 months. Didn't take a full year. 11 months. In 2017, 26 billion found its way back into Mexico from the United States. And I think it's interesting. For Mexico, Mexicans sending money from the United States to that country accounts for its largest source of foreign cash. The United States taxpayers are a cash cow for the Mexican government, and they're exploiting it to the hilt. Now, I am going to encourage the president to close the border, but I understand the president. He came out in a press conference just the other day and said he's going to give the Mexican government time. If they keep doing what they've done the last 3 days and prevent people from entering Mexico so that they don't make that trek through the country of Mexico to our border, he will not close the border. He will not put tariffs on their vehicles. But I want you to consider this. I haven't talked about the Mexican-American War. The Mexican-American War, of course, was, relationships started to sour when the United States government annexed Texas. But you have to understand, Mexico was completely out of its depth in terms of being able to control territory here in the United States. So, I want you to consider this. The Mexican-American War, fought in 1846 through, actually I believe it started in April of 1846 and ended in February of 1848. The Mexican-American War was won by the United States of America. But just so you know, after we won the war, there were claims made by U.S. citizens against Mexico. You can just imagine for what. So the United States was originally going to sue Mexico for $30 million. In the end, the United States of America won the Mexican-American War and gave Mexico $15 million. And I want to make sure I get all the states correctly highlighted here. So we paid for New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, and California, Texas, and Western Colorado $15 million and U.S. assumption of our citizens' claims against Mexico. So we not only won the war, but then we gave $15 million to Mexico, and we took care of American citizens and their losses. Is Mexico a hostile power? I think that's an important question to consider in light of the fact that U.S. taxpayers, American taxpayers, are footing the bill, providing welfare benefits, food stamps, free medical care, free dental care. Oftentimes immigrants to the country, 70% of the households are on welfare or disability, state disability. We pay for it. Working Americans pay for it in their respective states. And then when they're working, of course, to consider, I didn't realize it was that high. I did not know that 26 billion was going down into Mexico by foreign workers in this country. That's incredible. They're not putting it back into America's economy. They're pulling it out of America's economy. There are a lot of countries that wouldn't tolerate that for half a minute. There are citizens of countries, I'm thinking about Greece, for example. They don't allow people to take out hardly any money at all when they leave Greece and come to America. There are lots of countries that don't even allow their own citizens to take out money and take it to a foreign country. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think, I actually know this has been a practice that's been going on for decades.
Yes, right. It is, but I was doing some research, and the fact that I found these figures for 2017, and I saw, wow, there was quite a bit of work done that particular year, because that was the first year the president was in office. And I am just shocked that we're considered racist for talking about a foreign government that is using its resources to publish pamphlets and produce videos for the sole purpose of encouraging and explaining how its citizens can violate our laws and remain in this country undetected. And I wonder if I was able and had the opportunity to really get on the inside of this issue, I wonder if they're actually taught how to commit fraud, identity fraud, because that is a serious problem. And as you know, I've been in education for years and years. I've had illegal students come into the classroom, and one year they're in, and this is their name. The next sometimes it's the next semester. Other times it's the following year, or the following year after that. But they've changed, and it's like they have a new name. They're registered under a new name. I knew them as this name. I knew this person as this under this name, and now they've changed their name. Yes, you wanted to say something.
Well, I think one of the things that's not being told is the fact that a lot of this, they get paid in cash. A lot of them get paid in cash.
Right, exactly.
So
they don't pay taxes.
So they don't pay taxes.
No.
So a lot of them don't pay income taxes, and then on top of that, they send a lot of money back.
Right. They're not benefiting the United States in any way. And on top of that, we have classrooms here in Kern County, Bakersfield, up and down the state, that are full of adult students getting taught free of charge how to read, write, and speak English. And it's incredible. They're getting a free ride all the way around. I think it is ridiculous that there are people in this country that thinks that it's racist to talk about another country scamming, teaching its citizens to scam the taxpayers of the United States of America. I want you to hear this clip. This is the president, just yesterday, I believe, talking about his plans with respect to the border. And I hope that you'll listen carefully. Again, today he's in California looking at a piece of the new border wall. Let's take a listen.
But before I close the border, if Mexico, and we love Mexico, we love the country of Mexico, we have two problems. We have the fact that they allow people to pour in to our country. We have to stop them. Border Patrol's been incredible. ICE has been incredible. Law enforcement's been incredible. And the other problem is drugs. Massive amounts of, much of the drugs coming into our country come through the southern border in all different ways. Much of it where we don't have walls. The wall is under construction, by the way, large sections. We're going to be meeting, I think, on Friday at a piece of the wall that we've completed, a big piece. A lot of it's being built right now. A lot of it's being signed up right now by different contractors. It's moving along very nicely. But we need the wall. But we need lots of other things. So we need help from Mexico. If Mexico doesn't give the help, that's okay. We're going to tariff their cars coming into the United States. The other thing is because Mexico is such a big source of drugs, unfortunately, now we have China sending fentanyl to Mexico so it can be delivered into the United States. It's not acceptable. So the second aspect of it is, which you haven't heard before, is that if the drugs don't stop, Mexico can stop them if they want. We're going to tariff the cars. The cars are very big. And if that doesn't work, we're going to close the border. But I think that'll work. That's massive numbers of dollars. So if we don't see people apprehended and brought back to their countries, if we see these massive caravans coming up to our country right through Mexico, coming right through Mexico like nothing. Buses are even given to them. For the last 3 days, it hasn't happened since I said we're closing the border. The only thing, frankly, better but less drastic than closing the border is to tariff the cars coming in. And I will do it, just like you know I will do it. I don't play games. I'll do it. So we're doing it to stop people. We're going to give them a 1-year warning. And if the drugs don't stop or largely stop, we're going to put tariffs on Mexico and products, in particular cars. The whole ball game is cars. It's the big ball game. With many countries, it's cars. And if that doesn't stop the drugs, we close the border. Because Mexico last year, and over for many years, just like China, except China numbers are even bigger. And I don't blame China and I don't blame Mexico if they can get away with it. I blame the people that used to sit in this seat because they should have done something about it. And I'm not just talking about President Obama. I'm talking about many presidents. They should have done something about it. So if Mexico doesn't do what they can do very easily, apprehend these people coming in, and they can do it in a much more humane fashion. Why should they walk up 2,000 miles and then be brought back? They can stop them right at their southern border, right where they come into Mexico. And they have unbelievable immigration laws where they have the right to do it. The most powerful in the world, as good as you can have. And they're going to do it. And if they don't do it, we're going to tax the cars. And if that doesn't work, we're going to close the borders. But we're also going to do something having to do with tariffs on drugs. Because not only are hundreds of thousands of lives a year being ruined in our country, but numbers of people are dying that you wouldn't believe. I mean, we'll lose one military personnel, and it's a front page story. And yet we have 100,000 people. People don't even know the number. They say 77,000, they say 72,000. Any number they give, you can guarantee to raise it. And if the drugs don't stop, we're going to put tariffs on. It also costs our country at least $500 billion through our southern border, $500 billion. So we will put tariffs on if they don't apprehend, and ultimately we're going to give a period of time. But if in a year from now, drugs continue to pour in, we're going to put tariffs on. Now, we have a deal, USMCA, it's all done. They're going to have to live with it, okay? They're going to have to live with it. I'm not trying to be unfair, they're going to have to live with it. The USMCA is a great deal for everybody. But this is more important to me than the USMCA. So they're going to have to live with it. Thank you very much.
I want to thank the President of the United States for making it clear to the American people that it's costing American taxpayers $500 million. I mean, that, you know, when you think about it, $500 million. And I want to say that a lot of the people coming up in these caravans, in which thousands of people are coming up, have come up every day, that it's, many of them are sick, and I feel very sorry for them, and I want them to get help. And I expect, and this is the question that you need to be asking. You know, we can feel sorry for people all day long, but we need to ask the important question, the fundamental question that should really be at the heart of this discussion is, what is Nicaragua? What is Guatemala? What is El Salvador? What is Honduras doing to help their people? There's no point in us continuing to give aid if they're not going to cooperate with the United States. And the wealthy kleptocracy in these governments, these wealthy individuals that exploit people in order to gain money and power, should be using it on their hospitals, on recruiting doctors to their country, on building up a healthy infrastructure for their people. That's the question. It's not how the American taxpayer, how the middle class can bear the burden of the whole wide world that's suffering. It's what is this government doing to hold accountable these foreign governments. And thank you, President Trump, for having the strength of character, have the guts, to have the courage to say to the President of Mexico, you either get your act together and stop allowing these people to come into your country and then just move their way. As you know, photographers are out there showing people that are suffering and tired and sick and living in these filthy tents and under these filthy conditions. Whose fault is that? Mexico didn't need to let them in to begin with. Is the Mexican president saying to the presidents of El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala, get your house in order. Get your country in order. Take care of your people. Maybe some of those wealthy people in those countries would like to build a hospital and take care and help the poor. But the United States and the middle class taxpayer, even our wealthy taxpayers, we cannot be expected to take care of an entire world. We can pray for them. We can pray for their governments that they pull it together, get things in order in their country. But we can't be expected to financially take care of the whole world. And I think this is certainly where prayer comes into focus. I do think we have to pray for people that are sick and hurting and poor and hungry. We need to do, of course, what we can. And we have been. And we have churches, and I've attended churches, I've given money, I've given food, I've given blankets. Lots of people just like me. I'm sure there's probably thousands of people just like me, that have donated whatever they had to donate, whether it was money or food or medicine or whatever, to help people struggling in various parts of the world that are suffering. We do that as Americans. We're the most generous country in the whole world. Our people are, because we do care. But let's hold, I just thank you, Mr. President, for holding Mexico accountable, because it is wrong that they would encourage people to break our laws and become a burden on our society and bring with them, in some cases, crime, illiteracy, which is rampant. I mean, when you consider the people coming across that border, these people are largely uneducated people. I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to. Well, I don't even have a 6th grade education, they tell me. But, you know, they're here and they expect us to do our very best, and then they whine. I can't tell you how many students will whine and complain if things aren't exactly the way they want them to be and everything's being handed to them on a silver platter. It's incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, I have some good news to share. A win for free speech. Wait for this story. This is great. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to tell you about a place I love to go, Frugatti's Italian Restaurant. Very few locations here provide seating outside in front of a fabulous water fountain with an atmosphere that is reminiscent to me of eating outdoors in Venice. This is real Italian food by real Italians. And what makes it even more so is owner Ralph Frugoletti, who nearly a quarter century ago brought a wood fire oven from Milan, Italy to make, like his mother, fresh homemade bread and pizzas. Moreover, Frugatti's Restaurant offers you not only the very best in Southern Italian cooking, even importing the finest ingredients for authentic Italian food, including a fitness menu. After all, Ralph has represented the United States and Italy, competing in the Master Championship Games. He knows all the right food for good fitness, so check out the menu. After today's broadcast, run over to Frugatti's Italian Restaurant and Catering at 600 Coffee Road here in Bakersfield. And after a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday service, stop into Frugatti's for a great lunch. I'll see you there, and tell Mr. Ralph Frugoletti that Denice sent you. Salute. Buon appetito.
Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to legal matters, contact Barb Reynolds. She is a contract paralegal to lawyers, and she will take good care of you. Moreover, she is a Kern County legal document assistant to pro per litigants. She has 47 years of paralegal experience, and for over 30 years has been an educator in the field of law and paralegal work. If you need help handling your adoption, bankruptcy, civil suit, divorce, debt consolidation, evictions, immigration, or attorney referrals, contact Barb Reynolds if you want to win your case. Call Tehachapi Court Services today at 661-822-1994. Barb is simply the best. Call Tehachapi Court Services today at 661-822-1994.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so thrilled I've got the owner of Sculpt 365 Fitness here with me today, Craig Jansen, Navy veteran. Craig, tell the audience out there why everybody in town needs to come up over here and join.
Well, Sculpt 365 is a 24-hour club, so we never close, unlike a lot of other clubs here in town. Additionally, our club is always super clean, and one of the things that you're going to find here is a different environment where we strive to give you a VIP experience here. So we want to get to know you, we want to know your story, we want to know about you and how we can help you succeed and meet all of your fitness goals.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, come on down to Sculpt 365 Fitness. You're located right here on Brim Hall. Tell us your other locations.
We have another location up in Tehachapi, and then our third location here in town is also located over on Chester and Columbus in the Food Mac Shopping Center.
Thank you so much, Craig. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
I am a
Jansen. Call Craig Jansen at 661-679-7116. 679-7116. He's a Navy veteran. Done tremendous work on behalf of the United States of America. If there's a gym you want to join, it's Sculpt 365 Fitness. They've got a beautiful new facility right there at 9500 Brimhall Road, Suite 202. Check it out. Sign up. I'm waiting to get the word from Craig, but last time I spoke to him, it was 0% to enroll in Sculpt 365, and it was half off for the first 6 months in terms of, the monthly dues. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the place to go. They've got all kinds of fabulous little goodies that you can enjoy. So check it out. Okay. I want to get to, in this segment, what Israel's going to do, because the rockets keep landing. I couldn't believe the reporting on Fox News as I was getting ready for my morning class this morning. I heard, I don't know what the person's name, but someone came on and they were reporting it. They didn't even bother to mention that rockets had again landed in Israel. Ever since this so-called truce, rockets every day, every night, continue to land inside Israel. And this reporter's, there's bias everywhere. There's bias against Israel everywhere. This reporter said something to the effect, well, Israel's there at the border. The Palestinians, these are people living in the Gaza Strip under Hamas, the Islamic Resistance Movement. Hamas is an acronym, by the way, for the Islamic Resistance Movement, for those of you who don't know Arabic. Hamas has got its people out there, 40,000. So I want to talk more about that in just a minute, but first, there's a win for free speech this week, and I was thrilled to hear about it. A woman that works in a music store up in Northern California in the Bay Area. She was fired, and I just, I salute this company. The name of the company that fired her is Griffin, Gryphon, Griffin Strings in the Bay Area. So they had an employee by the name of Parker Mackay. And Parker Mackay, who worked at the store, confronted someone in Starbucks who was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. This is an elderly man that was wearing the hat. And so according to the San Francisco Gate newspaper, on Wednesday, this woman, Parker Mackay, photographed a customer at Starbucks wearing a mega hat and berated him in front of everyone in Starbucks. How lovely, Parker, that you would berate an elderly old man for wearing a Make America Great Again hat, probably a veteran. And of course, the president has raised the salaries of our men and women in the armed forces and done so much to try to provide choices, medical choices, and this president has done so much for veterans. Ask a veteran and they'll tell you. Yes, Robert, you want to say something?
I actually just had a question because we showed a video just the other day of an elderly man getting beaten.
That was at a pro-life.
Pro-life, and I know this is to make
beat up on an elderly man.
But I'm noticing that a lot of these younger people are beating up these or harassing the older people.
Well, I guess it makes them feel big and tough to beat up. That young man. He was looked like he was extremely strong, and to beat up and kick an old man on the ground, that was incredible to me.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that the younger generation is taking their frustrations out of this?
Why do I think that?
Why? I mean, I just don't
know.
get it.
Is it because both parents are working night and day and they just aren't there to teach their children a healthy respect for the elderly? Maybe these kids grow up and they're so angry with their parents because their parents are absentee parents that they couldn't care less about the older generation and they hate the older generation. I don't know. I wonder where. I wonder what parents are doing if they've just assigned all their important duties to some babysitter that doesn't give a gosh golly gee about anything and just looking for that paycheck at the end of the day. your typical babysitter.
I'm just curious because I'm seeing a rise in this kind of activity.
Well, there's a lot of angry young people out there. I will say that, and I don't think that parents. I don't get the impression that they teach their children good manners much anymore. I know people that allow their kids to. If I talk to the parents, they allow their children to just interrupt nonstop. I mean, the child walks up to them. You know, we can be talking. The child walks up. It's right away. Focuses on the child. Thinking, why am I trying to have a conversation with this adult person? Because every time in the middle of the conversation, their attention immediately goes to their child. I'm thinking, I was told by my mother, keep my mouth shut until she was done. And when she was done, then I could speak. Because I wasn't to interrupt adults while they were talking. Remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah, you remember that. Yeah, what happened to those days? When children were told, you know, when the adults are talking, you need to keep quiet, and when we're done, you can interject or, you know, be vocal about whatever it is you need to talk about. I don't understand parents today. Used to be, yes ma'am, yes sir, thank you very much, please, you're welcome. Don't get that from a lot of people today. I don't know. Anyway, this Parker Mackay says, quote, he will never forget me. I'll think seriously about wearing that hat in my town ever again. Well, maybe, lady, it's his town too. Did you ever think about that? It's not just, quote, your town. This is what she's tweeted out. So he'll think seriously about wearing that hat in my town ever again, she wrote. Quote, if you see him in this hat, please confront him. Really, lady? You want to confront some old man that's wearing a Make America Great Again hat? You do not want to be the person who didn't speak up as we slipped into fascism. Oh, right. Like we're slipping into fascism. Like the fact that the President of the United States of America and his team, most of which seem to be Christian people, that pray for people and care about people and help the poor and are doing everything we can to provide. I mean, this president works night and day to make sure every American is working and that their salary is going up, and he's working to get American companies that have gone overseas to come back here at home so everybody has a job and plenty of food on the table. And there was an old World War II expression. What was that? And a ham in the oven. Something. There used to be an old expression I heard my mother say.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of it.
Something in a pot and a chicken in every pot, or I don't know. I don't remember that. That's a little for my time. But you know, that just that sense that things are going well and doing well, and I think that's exactly what this president is attempting to do. Is, you know, bring us back to that period of time where, you know, we're coming out of economic hardship and people are doing better and people are doing well and people are working and have more self-respect. And I just know this is where this president is coming from. This is not somebody that's thinking about putting people in ovens and executing them. You know, this is not Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany. And for this twit to say, you don't want to be the person who didn't speak up as we slipped into fascism. You know, I wonder where these people come from. Who were their parents? Wolves? I don't know. I don't know. My producer's laughing. No, okay, so listen to Amy. This is great. So Amy at Right Hook USA. That's cute, Amy. At Right Hook USA. She says, Parker Mackay is doxing an old man on Facebook because he wore a mega hat in public. So she writes, I've messaged Parker and let her know that I will be contacting her husband's work that she publicly posted on her Facebook page to show them the violence their employee's wife is promoting. I'll tell you what. Twitter's on fire. People are having World War III on Twitter. Well, I've said quite a bit on Twitter myself. Yes, you want to say something?
To answer your question, it was a 1928 campaign, presidential campaign. A chicken in every pot and a car in every garage.
A chicken in every pot and a car in every garage. That's from a 1928 presidential campaign.
And for Herbert Hoover.
Herbert Hoover, Republican. There you go. Thank you for checking that out. My producer, Robert. He's mine, not yours. A chicken in every pot and a car in every garage. 1920. Are you 1928? Herbert Hoover. Yeah, that's right, because Herbert Hoover was president. Yeah, okay. He was, until then, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and started all that socialism. Like Social Security and welfare and everything else. God help us. Okay, so, real quick, before we go to break, I wanted to say that Israel, and I want to get this out here too, Israel, and for those of you that may not know this, in an effort like we do here in the United States to help people that come here illegally, they can get on welfare and we take care of them and they have food stamps and we pay for their iPhones and their rent and the cars they drive and everything else. Israel, with the people that live in the Gaza Strip and in parts of Judea and Samaria under Muslim Arab control, terrorist control really, provides a lot of material. And they provide cement, rebar, metal, fiberglass, resin, food, medicine, all kinds of things. And in fact, Israel, even though it guards the entryway into Israel, at these ports of entry from the Gaza Strip into Israel and from communities, Palestinian communities, and Israel has to guard them because there are criminals that don't just rape or steal or commit identity fraud, but there are killers that will come into the border and slit a child's throat from ear to ear. Israel faces a tremendous number of terrorist attacks on a weekly basis. So Israel has to have border patrol. But in the meantime, Israel has always provided people that are suffering. And why are they suffering, by the way? Why are people suffering under the control of Hamas? Because Hamas takes all of the resources and money that has been provided to them by countries like Israel, by countries like the United States, and European countries and Arab Muslim countries. They take this money and instead of building a hospital or a school, they'll build a terror tunnel. And they'll run electricity through it, they'll run terrorists through it, they keep it equipped, they've got phones, they've got like miniature, I don't want to say a whole community, but they've got miniature facilities in these tunnels that they can operate terrorist attacks in the state of Israel. It's like, and it reminds me of Hezbollah that has worked with these narco-terrorists in Mexico to build tunnels into the United States. That's why Candace Owens the other day when we ran that clip with Charles Kirk, Charles Kirk talked about building the wall, and Candace Owens says, yeah, build it tall, build it wide, but Candace says, and build it deep. It's deep is because of the tunnels that are coming into the country. And it's not just Hezbollah, which means the Party of God, that's a running-back terrorist group, but we're talking about ISIS, we're talking about Al-Qaeda, we're talking about the PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization, and the numerous Palestinian groups that are terror groups here in the United States. But anyway, so this is my thought. This is what I'm thinking. One, because today, being Friday, the terrorists, these Palestinians, are burning these tires, right? They burn these rubber tires, make you sick. They burn them and they burn tens of tires, right? Hundreds of tires, right up along the border. They burn them and then they provide cover in order to attack and try to break down the fence, because their idea is to break down the fence that separates Israel so they can run into these Israeli communities along the border and start killing their civilian population. It's all about jihad. They're jihadists. That's what they support. Read the Quran. So this is what that's about. But in the meantime, I think what's underreported, if it's reported at all here in the American press, is the rockets that keep landing. So my thought is this. Israel needs to do one or two things, and I hope you'll encourage the president to stand. Of course, the president stands with Israel, stands very strongly for Israel, but I think the president could go even further. I think the president needs to get behind the state of Israel in terms of actually declaring war, because you don't know it, but they're declaring war on Israel every day. I mean, whether it's on a radio show or a television program, look at Palestinian Media Watch, PMW, Palestinian Media Watch. Check it out. You can see all the translations of radio and television broadcasts. And they're always calling for attacks. They teach their children from the time they can carry a knife or gun at the age of 3 to think about taking the life of a Jewish child or a Jewish infant. I mean, they're raised on this stuff. They're raised on murder and mayhem. So it's really important for us, I think, to really support Israel and say, you know what? If you need to go in there, into the Gaza Strip, and just, wipe them out. And I don't mean wipe out, innocent children. But there's not a lot of innocence there, I have to admit. But, most people, they support the terrorism there in the Gaza Strip. So I don't know how many innocent people they are, because, you've got wives and mothers building bombs in their kitchen. They're called Molotov cocktails. So, it's usually a family affair, so not quite sure how many people are innocent. But at any rate, Israel probably needs to go in there and take out at least all of the leadership. At least all of the leadership of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Does that sound too crazy to you? Does that sound... No. I think that sounds pretty fair, since they're constantly attacking Israel and allowing the Gaza Strip to be used to launch rockets and missiles into Israel's civilian population and build those tunnels. So take out all of its leaders and really build the wall and just completely, it's over. And whatever you do over there on that side, go ahead and do it. Or retake the Gaza Strip, retake it, which I'm sure would be a nightmare, but I hate to see the Gaza Strip remain in the hands of a terrorist organization. The only other thing Israel could possibly do is just simply, as I said, build a wall and just completely separate themselves. Don't give them any more food. Don't give them any more medicine. Don't give them any more supplies to help them build their infrastructure or their hospitals or schools, because they just use it for nefarious purposes. So, either fight a war, completely separate, or if you want to, or I guess the third option is to retake it, as the Israelis did in 1967, retake it and control it. I don't know what else Israel's going to do, but I think it would significantly help if they take out the entire leadership of Hamas. Just thinking out loud today. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to go to a break. Thank you for listening to the Denice Carey Show, and we will be right back.
Trump has correctly stated that economic security is national security. And in the Tehachapi Mountains of Kern County resides a United States defense contractor, Anates Products. Here is the Silicon Valley of the aerospace industry, right here in East Kern. Anates Products is a forward-leaning manufacturer and distributor of hardware sold to major defense and aerospace companies. We're talking about Boeing, Lockheed Martin, United Technologies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon General Electric, and on the list goes, as well as to every United States ally worldwide, including Israel, America's most important strategic ally in the Middle East. And for everything that flies, Anates Products is providing the parts. And with me today is the president of Anates Products, Scott Baker. Hi, Scott.
How you doing?
Scott, tell us why you believe this corner of Kern County is the hub of the aerospace industry.
Well, this portion of Southern California here out in the Antelope Valley, it contains, some of the most cutting edge technology going on in aviation today. We have some of the UCAS programs with unmanned technologies going on. We have Edwards Air Force Base out here who's doing continual testing in their area. We have the Naval Weapons Station up there at China Lake doing some fantastic cutting edge stuff, cruise missile technology, and those things are going on. We have Scale Composites locally doing a lot of composite technology, which is new. We have SpaceX, which is a private one putting a private entity putting things into space now. This area is the growth center for aviation's future, and this is the area I think that as a nation we need to be concentrating some of our effort and taking this technology. And as we all know, with the space program from Apollo years ago, out of these technologies, we the private sector are going to reap some of the benefits of that.
Thank you, Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Baker, president of Anatase Products. Anatase Products, located in the beautiful mountains of Tehachapi, California, in eastern Kern County, is home to some of the most innovative and specialized technologies in the world, including those at the U.S. Naval Air Warfare Center, Weapons Division at China Lake, Edwards Air Force Base, as well as Strata Launch, launching satellites capable of delivering multiple orbits in a single flight to space. And it is Anatase Products that has provided the manufactured devices, and the president, Scott Baker of Anatase Products, Marine Corps veteran, reactivated on 9/11 to monitor threats to the homeland, is carrying on a tradition of providing for the security of the United States by manufacturing every kind of fastener on anything that flies, as well as providing a full testing destructive laboratory. Contact Anatase Products, now in business for 30 years, at 661-822-6873. Located at 1314 Goodrich Drive in Tehachapi for your manufacturing and testing needs today.
Ladies and gentlemen, and boy, the show just went by fast. I want to mention something about, real quick, Ilhan Omar. This is the freshman congresswoman. They're representing the state of Minnesota. Some new information has come out on her. I'm not sure who's reporting this out, but apparently she met with some Muslim Brotherhood members there on Capitol Hill. This shows a picture. She tweeted it out. That's why we have the picture here. Can people see that photo image?
Yeah.
So on her Twitter account, she talks about meeting with a couple individuals, and she's asking. Well, she's not asking. She's demanding that the United States President, the President Trump, petition the Egyptian President Abdullah al-Sisi to release a Muslim Brotherhood, an Islamist activist from a prison there in Egypt. And I thought that was rich, that she would demand the president release a Muslim Brotherhood activist in Egypt. I want you to know that the Muslim Brotherhood here in the United States is not officially on our terror organization list, which is published yearly by the State Department. I'm going to ask all of you to call your member of Congress and call the president. Let's get, the Muslim Brotherhood on the list of terrorist organizations that the State Department acknowledges as terrorist organizations. I want you to know that, let's see. Russia and even Qatar, I believe Bahrain. I'm trying to think of the different countries that have already put the Muslim Brotherhood on their terror watch list. But at any rate, if you've taken the time to read about and research the Muslim Brotherhood, you would know that they call for a civilizational jihad. I'm quoting now from their literature. They call for a civilizational jihad here in the United States, and their whole purpose is to get people elected and put into office, Muslims put into office here in the United States, for the purpose of ultimately bringing into play the Quran as the highest or ultimate law in the United States of America. That's the goal. You say, oh, that sounds far-fetched and stupid that you would even mention it. Well, it can sound stupid to you, but that's why they spend a lot of money and raise a lot of money to get candidates and people like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. Sometimes they start off locally and they get them into state office, and the next thing we know, they're now, in Congress, moving in, moving up, and working to normalize Islamism and the kind of thinking that's in the Quran that, for example, allows for female genital mutilation, that supports the annihilation of the state of Israel, ideas that would allow segregation of men and women. If you've bothered to go to a mosque, you know that women and men are segregated. And on a hot day, men can wear shorts, a t-shirt, and thongs, but women are covered from head to foot in black in the sweltering heat. There's no equality between men and women in Islam, and of course there's a tremendous amount of abuse as well. So I'm not going to get into all of it, but I thought it was interesting that she is supporting an Islamist, a Muslim Brotherhood activist in Egypt, and demanding that our president get her released. I want to say, with respect to getting people released, that President Trump, in just 2 years in office, 2 years and 3 months, this president, more than any other president, has managed to secure the release of more Americans held in captivity by foreign governments than any other president. And again, Mr. President, the Denice Scary Show salutes you and thanks you for the efforts on your behalf and on behalf of Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, and your teams that are working for you and under you to see that your policy of securing the release of Americans held in captivity around the globe are released. And we so appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, before I say goodbye, let me mention again Tuesday at the Bakersfield Republican Women's Federated, Jessica Patterson, the new chairman of the GOP here in the state of California, the California GOP chairman, will be speaking. I hope to see all of you there. You can go on Facebook and check out Bakersfield Republican Women Federated. I know there's phone numbers to call. I'm sorry I don't have a phone number right here. I should, but I don't see it. And don't forget this Sunday, April 7th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on 17th Street, 600 17th Street, downtown Bakersfield. There's going to be Jewish food, live music, Israeli dancing, and wine tasting. There for all of you to enjoy. Say hello to the Jewish community here in Bakersfield. Be supportive, and hope to see you there. I don't know how much time I'll be able to be there, but I'm definitely going to be there. And I think, from what I understand, my producer's going to be there. I don't know if we'll be there at the same time, but I've asked him to take maybe get some of the Israeli dancers, on camera, and we'll share that with you on Monday. Thank you so much for. I so appreciate you. Please, if you can help us in any way, this is an unpaid position. My producer is paid. I pay my producer. But I'm an independent broadcaster. So if you'd like to make a contribution, please make a contribution to the Denice Scary Show and send it to P.O. Box 82162, Bakersfield, California, 93380. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible contribution, you can send it to my 501c3. It is an educational foundation. It's called the Middle East Initiative. the Middle East Initiative. And again, you can send it to P.O. Box 82162, Bakersfield, California, 93380. Thank you again for listening. Have a fabulous weekend. Have a safe weekend. Have a blessed weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Denise Gary Show. Intelligent Talk Media.